good or bad.
Yeah.
And you can't build a frame and stress it. You can,
But essentially
it doesn't tell you that's
you
good
need
or
years
bad.
of data to.
Yeah, I think the top 5 have years and years of doing certain testing of figuring out how to better quantify stuff that's hard to quantify. Meaning, like, does this frame feel better or not?
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting.
How is this frame going to react in choppiness? How's this frame going to react in sand?
Because, dude, I brought a rubber band with me today because flex is a thing that's talked about a lot. So, like, think of this rubber band. It's not flex at all. It's in its resting state. So that's like your frame. So people say, I want flex. Well, the more I pull up on this rubber band, the more it's going to snap back.
Yep.
So the more your frame flexes, the more it's going to snap back. You know your doorstop at your house? Have you ever flicked it?
Yep.
If you pull it this way, it doesn't go back to the center. It goes past the center.
Yep.
And then back
all the way
this
back to the other
and
side.
It goes
Right?
wah, wah, wah. That's called oscillation.
Yep.
It's going to wiggle back and forth forever. What I'm getting at, would you want a bike that as you're turning, it's going to flex a ton and then snap back? Because suspension is composed of 2 key components, a spring and a damper, or what we call a shock absorber. The reason we have that is because if we can press a spring and let it go, it's going to wiggle back and forth just like your doorstop. The damper, or the hydraulics, is what dampens that. That's what prevents it from going wah, 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 wah. The hydraulics lets it compress and then unload. So what I'm getting at is people talk about, I want my bike to flex more or flex less. What you're not realizing is the more your bike flexes, the more it's going to go like this and go
Snap back.
correct. But I'm sure there's some amount of flex you do want.
Right.
I doubt you want to hit bumps and your frame doesn't move at all.
For sure. It's just going to feel super rigid. And
Correct.
Right.
So I'm sure you want some amount, but do you want it to flex so much
Right.
that it's going to snap back into position? And here's the thing, undamped, you don't have a shock absorber for your frame to control how much it moves. Your frame is literally one big spring.
Right.
You can bend your frame this way and it's going to go and snap back into place. And
That's interesting. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it is. Like people say,
Right.
I want flex, and that's fine. But the more you bend something, the more it's going to snap back
Right.
or just break at some point. So, like, is there an area of flex you want? Sure. How much is ideal or optimal? I have no idea. But I think that's where the manufacturers, like the top 5 now, they have a better insight on it, strictly from experience of just 60, 70 years now of building
Right.
motorcycles, testing them, and doing certain tests and whatnot, and understanding that.
So then, like, taking it back to the start,
They're
that
at
thing's totally different.
So they're at disadvantage.
Right. Because
For
there's
sure.
definitely no flexibility in that chassis.
In that one key area,
Right.
in terms of like figuring out now, can they hire people from those companies? Like, absolutely, so there's definitely that, but
There's room to grow for them. They're not
exactly.
stuck there.
And also the way their motor works is way different. Meaning, we could take your Yamaha and I could give you the same suspension, but we could have Jamie at Twisted Development tune your ECU to have no engine braking and then have a lot of engine braking. If you go into the same corner and let off the gas, the bike with no engine braking, the forks are going to feel better
Yeah.
because it's not loading up their front end as much. Whereas the other one's going to feel worse because when you let off the gas, it's going to go brrrr.
Yeah.
And it's going to put a lot of front weight on the front forks and it's going to feel every single bump more. So that shows you how much an engine has an effect on the suspension. Well, theirs is electric. So the amount of inertia spinning inside is a lot smaller, or not bad, a lot less. So like, I imagine their testing will be the same, but the results and feedback will be unique to them because of their motor.
Gotcha.
And that's gonna be quite cool to see. Like,
Right.
I mean, you saw Best Trick. Like, do you see how fast Sheeny whipped around the double backflip? Because of how much torque that.
Yeah.
We've never seen that before.
Well, and that's what J.O. was talking about on the last episode, is like he